תראו, פה נפל הטיל.
In the early morning hours of June 19th, Iran's barrage of ballistic missiles slammed into Israel's largest hospital in the Negev. Miraculously, the lives of scores of patients at Soroka Hospital were spared, but 8 operating rooms and 6 research labs were destroyed.
We had the sprinklers working, and some of the tubes in the room, water and sewage, everything was, exploded.
So they were like just pieces.
So we walked in 20 centimeters of water there. All kinds of stuff in the water. I don't want to talk about it.
Including 5 years of important scientific work led by Ben-Gurion University's Professor Ehud Ohana.
Oh, בדיוק. תרדי, זה עוד, ממש עוד.
Thanks to the quick-thinking students, they were able to save many of the biological samples that are paving the way for huge advances in diabetes as well as inflammatory and metabolic diseases.
Crohn's disease, inflammatory bowel diseases in general, colitis, but there are all kinds of indications that metabolism is involved, including papers from our group showing that specific metabolites are elevated in Crohn's and colitis patients in their gut and also in their blood. And we know that these metabolites are linked to chronic inflammation. In green and yellow, you actually see the proteins, the molecules that sit on the membranes of cells. This is the actual robot that takes glucose from the extracellular environment, from the external environment into the cell, in order for it to be used for metabolism, for energy production.
Nearly 500 million people in the world suffer from diabetes type 2, and more than 1 million die every year. As many as 8 million people globally have Crohn's disease, 1 million in the U.S. alone.
In a precision type of medicine, future medicine, we might be able to detect genetically prone patients who are not already sick but might be sick in a few years, and then maybe we'll use this as a pre-treatment to prevent, like a full-blown disease.
Professor Ohana and his team published their findings in Nature Communications journal. Their research discovered that many of these immunological inflammatory diseases are actually related to metabolism.
By lowering the levels of these metabolites, we think that the chronic inflammation would go down and take away the symptoms.
And what they found is that the key is the liver, the body's second largest organ.
The liver is this huge metabolic factory, so it can metabolize, it can turn the sugar into all kinds of other metabolites and get rid of it in the blood, which is actually what we want to achieve in diabetic patients, because diabetic patients have high levels of sugar in their blood. And we found that if you interfere with this mechanism, something remarkable happens. Liver cells start taking up 3 to 4 times more sugar than they usually do. Apparently, it's not just the cells that deliver information from one another, also molecules within the cell. They kind of touch each other in order to send signals to one another. And by doing that, they coordinate which and how much of specific metabolites would be transferred into them.
With different cells and molecules communicating with one another, these bright minds are figuring out how to discover future solutions to minimizing symptoms of Crohn's disease and perhaps even addressing cancer.
Actually now developing specific molecules that would enter into all cells. And by doing that, we will specifically impair the function, even kill cancer cells, while other cells will be able to deal with these molecules and they will stay unharmed.
Although it's still early days before potential clinical trials and implementation, these Israeli scientists are setting the stage to help the entire world.
Science is our mission. It's a life mission for us. But we also understand the importance of science, not just to our nation, but to humanity.